What's the raciest thing your child has said in public that made you want to disappear? I'm a mom, and my 5-year-old daughter, Sophie, has never learned the difference between a thought and something you should actually say out loud. Most kids have an internal filter. Sophie skipped that feature entirely. A few weeks ago, we were flying home after visiting my parents. The airport was packed. People everywhere. Long security lines. Everyone stressed and in a hurry. We were standing near our gate when Sophie spotted a woman sitting across from us. The woman was gorgeous. Perfect makeup. Designer clothes. Hair that looked like it belonged in a shampoo commercial. The kind of person who somehow looks flawless while sitting in an airport for 6 hours. Unfortunately, Sophie noticed her too. And once Sophie becomes curious about someone, there's no stopping what comes next. Mommy? I already knew that tone. What is it, sweetheart? She pointed. Why is that lady so pretty? The woman looked over and smiled politely. I figured that was harmless. Some people are just naturally pretty, honey. Sophie nodded. Then she kept staring for way too long. The woman smiled awkwardly. I tried redirecting. Look, Sophie, want a snack? No. Great. Then Sophie stood up and marched directly over to the woman. Before I could stop her, she asked, excuse me, are you a princess or a movie star? The woman laughed. Neither. Oh. Sophie looked genuinely disappointed. Then she studied her for another few seconds. And that's when everything went wrong. In a loud voice that echoed through the waiting area, Sophie asked, then why do you look like Daddy's phone? Silence. Absolute silence. My blood turned to ice. The woman blinked. I blinked. Several nearby travelers suddenly looked very interested in our conversation. What? The woman asked. Sophie nodded confidently. Daddy looks at ladies who look like you on his phone all the time. I wanted the earth to open up and swallow me whole. Immediately. Right there. I rushed over. Sophie, what? You can't say things like that. But it's true. The woman was now trying and failing not to laugh. I was dying. Sophie, sweetheart, let's go sit down. But she wasn't finished. Not even close. She turned back to the woman. One time mommy caught him and he got in trouble. I covered my face. The woman burst out laughing. A few people nearby started laughing too. Did he now? She asked. Oh yeah, Sophie said. He said he was just scrolling, but mommy wasn't buying it. I considered changing my identity and moving to another country. The woman looked at me sympathetically. I have a feeling there's a story here. There is, I sighed. And unfortunately, my daughter knows all of it. Sophie climbed into the seat beside her. Mommy was mad for 3 whole days. Sophie, what? That's how long it was. The woman laughed so hard she nearly spilled her coffee. Then she asked, so what happened after that? Sophie answered before I could. Daddy bought flowers. Smart man. He also cleaned the garage. Very smart man. Then mommy forgave him. The woman nodded. Well, sounds like everyone learned a lesson. I learned a lesson, Sophie agreed. You did? Yep. What lesson? She pointed at the woman. If you're going to get in trouble looking at pretty ladies, don't save the pretty ladies where your kid can see them. The entire gate area exploded with laughter. Even I couldn't help laughing at that point. The woman was wiping tears from her eyes. That's honestly excellent advice. A few minutes later, our boarding group was called. As we stood up, the woman waved goodbye. Nice meeting you, Sophie. Sophie waved back. Nice meeting you too. I'll tell Daddy I found one of his favorites. I almost dropped my carry-on. The woman was laughing so hard she couldn't speak. And as we walked down the jet bridge, Sophie looked up at me and said, Mommy? Yes? Do you think Daddy will want a picture? I have never walked onto an airplane faster in my life.